It should have been impossible. But his mother was dying. She was tall and beautiful, still in the full health and vigor of her prime, despite having lied more than 1,000 years near the hot spring of her magnificent forest. That, for dryads, was the way of things. She wore very little because she had no need of clothing, no matter the time of year. She slumbered in winter, when the sap ran slow and her forests lay silent, and she awoke each spring, pale as the moon, lithe and hungry, and fertile. She blossomed through the summer, and by autumn she was full-bodied, curvaceous, with skin of cinnamon gold. Her name was Tiger, and she was the object of every man's desire.
Yes. Welcome to another great show of APN TV Media. We have a lot in store for you today. As a matter of fact, we have an author, I should say an upcoming author. She's very dynamic. She's also a flight attendant as well. Yes. And her book is titled In the Footsteps of a Killer. And you know what? This book, it's phenomenal, so it has to do with a little bit of paranormal for you. So anyway, I tell you what, without further ado, let's get this party started, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. You know what I did before I go to anything else? When looking on the back of your book, on Footsteps of a Killer, I've noticed you put these shoes were Footsteps of a Killer. And these shoes, it says, these shoes were made for, and you crossed out walking. I don't know if anybody realized that. And it has killing on it. That was cool. That was cool. But you know what? That's kind of that song. These shoes are made for
walking.
Yes. And I said, oh wow. So there's a pitch within the story itself, which is I like that. I like that because that's the first thing that came to my mind. So now I remember that it was made for walking. It's crossed out. It's the shoes are made for killing. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Anyway, you know what? The first thing I want to do is, besides this, is tell us a little bit about yourself.
Let's see. Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Still there. Happy to be in my city, the D.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I got to stay in the D. Oldest of 3 girls. 2 nephews. My dad's side of the family. 2 boys there. Single, if you're interested. And I'm an all over kind of person. I've had my hand in things from modeling to Miss Teenage Pageant when I was 15, which was really funny because all I wanted to do was do the talent competition part. So I got up there, I sang, wowed them, and then I packed up. My mom goes, "You ready?" Okay, yeah, let's go. I didn't want to do the whole thing. It was crazy. So I've tried a little bit of everything. Writing sort of just came around out of everything I've done because I went to school. I went to Marygrove College. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in arts, which I haven't done anything recently, and I've got to get back to it because it's starting to call to me again.
Okay.
But I've done everything: sing, dance, write, paint.
You went all the way from all this entertainment into the airlines, which is very interesting.
Well, the airlines kind of came first because.
Now do y'all hear that? Now you see how I have my aircraft license or aircraft mechanics license. It kind of came first, but mine came first with the after the military.
Okay.
And I've always had it ever since to this day. And it's funny, being in the airlines. It's like I don't want to say it's a job because really it's like part of your lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle.
Oh, yes, it's a lifestyle. Although you can add everything in between it.
Right, because you have time.
You have time.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's just interesting. Yes, that's why I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
well, we both were in the airlines together.
Right. Airlines came first because I had to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And then everything else it's coming up. So I'm hoping the writing will eventually pay the bills and I can say goodbye to the airline.
As well, you did great in your craft.
Thank you.
And what's interesting is that this book has that side order of paranormal.
Yes.
Which is really interesting. So I'm very intrigued with the suspense or suspense thriller with your book. So I'm going to do this. Tell us a little bit about your book because it's based around in Detroit.
It's based in Detroit. All of my writing, this is the 3rd book, 4th that I've actually written. This is the first one that's been professionally published. The others were self-published, which is great. Yes. But it all revolves around in and out of Detroit. At least, if not in completely, then in part. It'll start in Detroit, and then it may go someplace else, and then it'll come back and end in Detroit. So, I give a shout out to the hometown in all my writing. And
very good. Yeah, we do that. The one thing in this industry, especially in this. I don't even know what to say millennium. From 2000 on and up, and it's 2019, which still blowing my mind. I'm still thinking like it's 1999 going to 2000, but it's 2019, which is hard to even fathom. We're going to 2020.
Exactly.
And the industry, in the publishing industry, whether from self-published, vanity published, subsidy published, hybrid published, traditional publishing, it's all about the creativity of the author, the writer, and the team that they have to help them, make sure everything is in order. And that's the only hard part in the self-publishing, because I've been there too as well as traditional, is that if you don't have a team that helps you, then that's where, it kind of thwarts off your creativity.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with you, your creativity still shines through it.
Thank you.
And you ever, when you first did into the self-publishing, people had, I'm sure the way I've read this, because it's more refined.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And people have gravitated to your work when you started. We're always going to get critics.
I hope so, yes.
Yes, I mean, we're always going to get critics. Like, what I experienced was they criticize, but at the same time, they can't help but keep reading.
Yeah.
And when you can grab somebody that can't help but keep reading, like when I worked at like the audience call and stuff like that at Paramount Studios, what happened is that I think I always had that knack to, if I read something, I want to visualize it like a movie.
Right.
I want to visualize it. That's the only best way I can say when you're reading a book, a novel, that you're visualizing it.
Yes.
Now it's no more just reading, but you're seeing it in film, and that's how it's supposed to be when you're reading. It's when when somebody can't read it and they can't visualize it.
Right.
Then they're just reading, and then they go from nitpick to reading. But when you get critics, when I found out when you get critics who will try to pull this and pull that, but they find themselves still reading into it, yes.
Yeah.
That means the creativity's there. And that's how I look on the positive side of things. I don't look at whatever they say that's negative. It's okay, I understand it. But when they keep reading, they can't help it. They from beginning to end, then we know that they were drawn in. And then I look at is how can we fine tune it? And that's why I say this is pretty refined. This one here.
Yeah, it was refined. I'm with a publishing company, Artistic Words Publishing.
Yes.
And it started by a lady in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a few other books out there under her title, under Artistic Words Publishing.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a journey for us because she was up and coming as well. So I'm on the ground floor and rising up with her. So.
Yes, that's why I said there's upcoming authors and stuff, did a great job. I found it insightful and joyful, easy reading, easy visualizing. I mean, I didn't have to stop, didn't miss a beat. So it's like, I felt that, and I'm going, man, this is cool. And that's a nice little touch with the footprints in there. She did a little style.
Yeah, that was my editor, Carla Dean's idea. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, I like that. Okay, yeah, keep it. So.
And I'm going to share something else with you that probably others that didn't even, back in the day, when you did a novel, actually chapters were not supposed to be on the back side of another page on the left side. It's supposed to be on the right side. And if somehow we started cramming everything, and it'll be on the back side, so now you're trying to read, look back, and chapter 1's on the other side of the book, Right. And I did this term because that's basically what it is. It's on the other side of the page, on the left side instead of on the right side.
Right.
And the way some people like to use the APA rule, but I'll be honest with you that a lot of professionals would actually, not only the chapters were generally on the right side, but you don't indent unless it's needed on the first paragraph.
Okay.
And then everything under that is indented. Oh yes, I went through your book and I was like, oh my gosh. She did it the way it was, either that was old school or that is actually the way it's supposed to be, because that's how we were taught, because you don't start off paragraph to paragraph to paragraph. It starts off, I would say, your beginning subject. Mm-hmm. And then the indents on the paragraph, the indents is related to that first top paragraph or subject, subject matter. And then you can either break it off apart, or generally when it comes to that, you generally break it off apart. I'll just do it that way. All right, and you execute it where actually it flowed like it's supposed to, so you don't get lost in a transition.
Well, again, that's the plus of having a good team.
Yes.
Because a lot of those words, I didn't follow them when I was writing it out. And Carla Dean at Artistic Words Publishing, she had to call me and say, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do to it. I go, hey, you're the expert. Handle it. And she went through it.
Carla Dean from
Artistic Words Publishing.
Artistic Words Publishing. So we're giving you a shout out. You did a fantastic job. Okay? You did a fantastic job. So we give the publishing house credibility. We're validating that. Okay. Now, tell us a little bit about your book, because I've got two characters in there I want to talk about, but two main characters that seem to keep bumping heads throughout the book.
Yeah, that would
but
probably
tell us a little bit.
Well, okay, I'll start with that. It begins with two separate stories being told at the same time. The story of the killer, who it starts with him as a young man, a young child, and it takes you through his journey into craziness.
When he started out young. That's
Albert. It's Albert. He starts out as an innocent kid like all of us, but then his situation and his life and his lack of being loved all turn him into what he becomes, the killer. And at the same time, 20 years later, there's Leah, who is born, Leah Moore. She's born into the perfect situation. Loving mother and father, loving life, brought up in the church, the Catholic Church. I'm Catholic. Brought up in the Catholic Church. And it showcases the differences in how people are raised into what they become.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if you're not loved as a child, you're beaten, you're starved, you're going to grow up to be a nut. Something is not going to click in your head. You're not going to feel loved. You're not going to feel that you want to give love. Whereas with Leah, she was brought up in love and faith.
Yes.
The faith being a big part of it for me.
Because I was thinking about Albert, that seemed like he got forced into the institution.
Yes.
Started at, was it age 17 or something like that?
Well, he went in really early.
Really early, yes.
It was due to the fact that he killed his parents.
Oh, don't get into too much spoiler, but yeah. But beforehand, he, you know, the stepping stone to that point, you know, with the robbing and everything, that he had something clicked inside him that felt good. I mean, he really got excited over what he did.
Right.
His first robbery, all of a sudden, he did it, and it was like ecstasy to him.
Right.
It was like ecstasy.
Yeah. It was a progression, you know, from the first thing to the next, to the next. And
he almost got himself, you know, in the store, when he went in the store, and they, you know, he didn't have a gun, did he?
No.
As a matter of fact, the guy said it in there. He didn't have a gun. It was his finger or something like that.
Finger in the pocket.
Yeah. That's suicide. Anybody know kids that, you know, back in the day they used to do that? I mean, not today now. Kids run around with guns.
They've got their
own. They really got
yeah.
guns. But back in the day, they didn't have a gun, and they used their finger. What's that movie called? Fun with Dick and Jane.
Oh, yeah.
When he was, was it Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey, and I don't know.
I know some, and she had, he went in there, and he was trying to pull out a gun, and he couldn't pull it out, but he looked stupid. They just look at him, and that's how we did with the kids back in the day.
Right.
They didn't have a gun, though, but it looked kind of crazy trying to rob you with a finger.
With a finger.
Nowadays, stores don't even play that. They assume you have a gun.
And you're on the floor.
Yeah.
You know.
So you executed it well, because it took a stepping stone, step by step, to see where he was going, or you took your readers to where, you know, we were with him as he's growing, just as Leah, and where he was growing, and how everything circulated around him, groomed him in a way. It almost felt like he groomed himself, but it left him alone. So groomed him in a way that it shouldn't have happened, but it happened, and he started gravitating to it as part of second nature. Because what I said, when he got excited, because his adrenaline, it was like, wow, I can really, you know, and today's world, it's wrong, but it does happen.
It happens, yeah.
It happens. But Leah is the opposite. Now, you know that man, I don't even want to spoil it because I was thinking about on how it took place because technically, I'll just say the killer dies. Or, well, in the paranormal world, he's dead but not dead.
In the
we'll say it that
paranormal
way.
world, yes.
He's dead but not dead. And that leads to some other questions here. So let's go to this. Yeah, I'm great spoiler already. I'm like, oh my gosh. And Leah has got a part of this when they connect.
Right.
They connect together.
Right.
Okay. You know what I skipped them. I'm going straight to it. Okay. Tell us how did you formulated that to turn the book into a paranormal book? What made you decide to go that direction with these two characters? Mostly
because that's what I grew up with.
Okay.
The spookier the better kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Mom we'd have Friday Night Fright, and we'd turn on the old Dracula movie and turn off all the lights and get under blankets with popcorn, and Mom sitting on one side and me and my two sisters are on the other side, and we're you can't really be too afraid when you got Mom sitting there, but she was a big paranormal fan, and some of her favorite authors were Stephen King and John Saul. They're mine as well. And growing up, even my comedies were horror comedies. The Munsters, the Addams Family.
Yes. That was fun back then. Yeah. The fun scariness. Where you actually prepared yourself to be scared. Let's get some popcorn. All right, everybody get together, turn on, because we knew it was coming on.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah, just like a roller coaster. We knew it, and it was like, yes, and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, right.
Yes, I forgot about that. But that is it was scary humor. Under the Addams Family, and it was kind of creepy. They were creeped
They
out.
were creepy.
Yeah, but it was fun.
But I loved them.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So even my horror was creepy, and I just gravitated towards it. And this, In the Footsteps of a Killer, actually came to me as a dream. And what I dreamt was a lot of the beginning, pieces of the middle, and the very end. The entire ending was a dream that I had. And when I woke up, I was like, okay, where's the pencil?
Nice.
I dream horror. And it doesn't scare me.
No, because it was it's the way how, I had to say way, were raised in that atmosphere that you didn't have, it was fear, but you didn't have to actually fear it.
Right.
It was fun fear. I like that.
Fun fear.
That term, fun fear. Not psychotic fear, but fun fear.
Right.
And when somebody go boo, you go, oh, and you jump and you're laughing.
You're
both laughing.
Yep.
Nowadays, you see somebody go boo, you go, that's not funny. This is, and that's where the fun went away from the actual adrenaline of fear. It's fun fear, like a roller coaster.
Yep.
You get on there to be scared. That's fun fear.
You get on there purposely to be scared.
And you come, and after you get off, you're like, woo, yeah.
Let's do it again.
Or go to the, I don't know if they still have it, booths where they take pictures of you on rides.
Yeah.
I think in California it was Six Flags Magic Mountain did it. There was one in Ohio. I don't know if they do it anymore.
I haven't been to an amusement park in years.
Oh, yeah, I haven't been in decades. It's been so long. But they used to take pictures, and you go and you find out which, they'll show you all these pictures. Right. You find out which one is yours, and you go and pay for it, and see how, scared you are. And so whoever's thrown up in the back seat somewhere. Right. And they'll be going, yeah, after they get off of it. That's fun fear. I like that term, fun fear. The book on the paranormal, when it goes to, there's a ritual that kicks in too, and I'm scared to even ask to even shout that out because it sounds like I'm being a spoiler, huh? I'm spoiling it. I'm going to have the question here. Because that's good. That's good because it was fun reading it, and you can enjoy the craft that you did. You can enjoy it, and I'm glad you mentioned that there were two stories of two individuals coming together.
Right.
But they came together for a reason.
Right.
And this is when the paranormal starts to kick in. I have to say it that way.
Right.
It's hard to try not to say it because it's like say, is the killer dead or is the killer not dead? Well, you're going to have to read the book to find out.
Right.
You know, you really have, because remember said these shoes are made for walking, crossed out, made for killing. And a little key thing. Let me ask you this. Is there, I know I'm throwing this out there. It's not on here, but I'm throwing it out there. Was there a deliberate purpose in certain areas to put those footprints?
I don't know. Again, the editor put those in, and I think she had a purpose, though.
Because I was reading, I went through the book, and I went back again, and I said, wait a minute, this fits here. Well, then I thought about it again. I said, why footprints, and then a certain something happened, and then footprints again, and I said, well, that's unusual. And I went back and said, okay, I'm following it. I'm gonna follow the footprints.
I think she had a purpose.
Yeah, this is something that was in there.
Written with honesty that stings, is the true story of a girl. Joining the Marines is her escape from home, but the toughest challenge still lies ahead. When Jessica outperforms some of the men, chivalry turns to ugly rivalry. The Marine Corps trained Jessica to kill the enemy. The enemy is surprisingly close.
In the footsteps of a killer, that you go back and you, after you read it, or during the time, and I don't want to get you lost in it, but to go back and or make notes. That's funny. I'm throwing it out there to make notes to find out if there's something has to do with it. You know, I kind of gave an open door on that way too for you, just in case somebody want to ask questions about it, if they haven't asked questions. Because you can actually add some philosophy to the footprints. Let's do it that way. That's for you.
Okay.
To dwell on.
I'll dwell on that.
Okay, good. All right. Now, uh, um, your first story. What was that about? The first story.
My very first one was called Dark Reflections.
Okay.
And again, a dream. Growing up, I used to have trouble sleeping at night. So I would tell myself a bedtime story in my head, and it was a horror story. But I didn't have trouble all the time. I would only do it when I couldn't sleep.
Yes.
Eventually, I started sleeping, and I started not having any problems. But the dream kept coming, and it would pick up wherever it left off. It didn't come every night, but when it did come, it would pick up wherever it left off, and it would continue.
Okay.
I finally dreamt one night, nothing, when you close your eyes, you see black. I saw white lines moving like movie credits. And I woke up and went, okay, we'll start writing. And that's Dark Reflections was born. It took me about 20 years, though, to write it.
Wow.
I started with a legal pad because I didn't have a computer at the time. And I'm writing, and I lost the legal pad. So I thought, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Year later, I found it, picked up where I was writing. I looked at it, okay, I remember that, and started writing again. Moved, lost it, found it a year later, looked at it again. Okay, I remember where that was, and I started writing again. And finally, I got it to the point where when I literally got to the end, it was like floodgates in my brain opened, and I could see all these other ideas coming. And I have trouble sleeping at night now because I can't rest. My brain has always got something going on inside of it. And I have to wake up and go, okay, I'm sleepy now. Can I sleep? And then go back to sleep. So, Dark Reflections took 20 years. That was the first one that I self-published.
Okay, that's the first book.
Yeah, I self-published that one.
And how many you have? What, 3? Or this is your fourth one?
This is my fourth one.
Okay.
Sequel is coming.
Well, I was going to get into that, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah. So
but your second one?
The second one was A through Zach. That was about a guy who keeps seeing this vision of this woman as a child, and he's afraid of her. Grows up, and they interact to the point where, how do I put it without giving it away? There's some apocalyptic issues going on in that one. And then I wrote a romance called, blank mind, The Last Cattle Roundup. And it's about a young female executive who gets forced into going to Montana to fix the parent company and ends up falling in love. But along there's a rocky road that leads to it, so of course. And then In the Footsteps of a Killer was born, and yeah.
Wow. That's pretty adventurous. Yes. I'll tell you what, everybody, we'll be back with Denise and her new book titled In the Footsteps of a Killer right after this. We have more time. Welcome back. The sequel. So you are going to have a sequel to this book.
There is a sequel.
Oh, it's already in the making.
It's in the editing process right now.
Oh, you already have a full manuscript already, complete manuscript.
Completed. Now that took 2 years, so that was a minute, but yes, it's completed. It's being edited. I have a cover, but I can't reveal it yet. But yeah.
Okay. Will some of the other characters? Will we be seeing some of the characters from this one in there, or?
Yes, and then a couple of new ones.
Okay, good, excellent. Yeah, as a matter of fact, what did bring you to the title itself, "In the Footsteps of a Killer"? How did you come up with that?
Oh, I think I was just one night when I was writing, and the shoe thing was prevalent in there, and I thought, well, it's revolving around the shoes, so it's got to be something shoeish. Mm-hmm. And this guy's walking and killing people. In the footsteps of a killer.
Wait a minute, say that again. Back it up. Say that again.
As he's walking around and he's killing people. So, killer, walking, footsteps. In the footsteps of a killer. Nice.
I can't open that door. I was on the door about the title, because that's a nice title. That's a nice title. But again, well crafted. Bringing Albert into light, which is kind of interesting. But we can do this. I want to throw this in. When the two worlds collide. Okay. When do both of them meet?
They kind of meet when she's little, because they're connected by electricity.
Okay.
I'm not going to say how. They're connected by electricity. And as a little girl, she's in her mind re-witnessing all of his murders. And in her mind as a little girl, he's also taunting her. He doesn't realize that he's creating his adversary, but he's taunting her.
He's taunting her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to jump somewhere all the way to the intro. Okay, since you brought about electricity up. There's something you utilized about our weather, which was kind of funny. You called it, being in Detroit, bipolar weather. I've never heard that before. I said bipolar weather. I said, pages of the introduction. It was good, how, give us a general, more than just a synopsis. You packed a wallop in there, but I don't know why I was stuck. I was still reading, and back in my mind was still saying, why does he call it bipolar? And I said, that's a shame. It said, our weather is bipolar.
We never know what's going to do.
We never know. We never know what's going to, how the weather is. And I kept going, did she tie this in with the book? And I'm sitting there still thinking about that. And I was like, wow, she actually put, it's realism based.
Yes.
The realism based, it's a fiction novel, but it's realism based.
Yes.
And when you did that, I was thinking about that, about the bipolar, and then I started thinking about Albert, and then I said, "Oh my gosh, what did she just do?" I said, "What did she do to me? I haven't gotten to chapter 1 yet." When I got in there and started reading about Albert's trip outs, and then I'm going, "Man, he should be bipolar." Then I said, "Man, a bipolar kid in a bipolar world and a bipolar weather."
Didn't have a chance.
He didn't have a chance. And they're going to walk in the institution.
And there ain't none in Michigan.
There ain't none.
So.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
It is really sad.
That's the sad part. When they, I remember years ago, I don't know, it was 7 or 8 years ago, when they got rid of the institution and everybody went out into the streets. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I remember one place they opened up called the Drop-In Center in Monroe, and the people who came out of the institutions end up going there for a hangout, and it was insane. Matter of fact, we had a place over by the post office where also people were gravitating to because there was no other place to go.
No other place for them. Yeah.
Why is that? What? I mean, as a matter of fact, I myself had used to, back in the day, transport people from Detroit to Ohio, and some in Ohio back to Detroit, back and forth because there were no place for them. And the only place you can take them to was shelters.
Yeah, and they're not equipped for it.
They're not equipped for it.
No, not even.
What happened?
I think I remember which governor that was.
Oh, that was...
Yeah, not my favorite guy.
It has one of those, for the prisoners, early release, and for the for those that are ill, they get a permanent release.
Yeah.
So this is crazy, and so you've got madness running around, and then you get somebody like Albert with his bipolar self in the bipolar world with bipolar weather in Detroit of all places. Whoo!
Yeah. Detroit's pretty spooky sometimes on its own. So,
oh yes, especially so you go down the wrong area at night.
I don't go down the wrong area during the day.
Yeah, daytime too. Yeah, you're right about that. I was just thinking about there's a juvenile place when I was in, I do law also, and I remember I was going down the next block, just a block over from it, and it was mayhem out there. I was like, oh no. I mean, people beating, stabbing, and I'm like, what kind of place is this? Is somebody trying to break in somebody's car, and they're just a block away. A block away. I said, is it that bold?
That's where our society has come down to. The craziness is a block away.
Yeah, craziness is a block away. I almost gave a title on its own, but it is. It's craziness is only a block away, and it's sad. It's sad. And with our, what do you call it, the videos and stuff like that for these children, they become isolated.
Yeah.
And the only friends that people have now is social network friends, not real people to go out and hang with or go to the park or anything.
Yep.
So that means they really can't handle society except for go out into society in a video warped out mentality. Is that about right?
That's about right.
Because
warped mentality.
Yes, I do kind of feel, I mean, Detroit's trying to pick up. I see they're trying to do something with it. But, every time if you're a visitor trying to head to Detroit, you've got to see all the places that have been torn up before you even get there to the beauty side of it.
Right.
And that's, why don't they fix the before you get to Detroit, fix the outskirts going into the city.
Yeah, they're working from the inside out. It's just nuts.
And it's scary just getting to it to see it because you don't know what's going to happen before you get there. Before you get there. Yeah, it's terrible. And you know what? And that's what it seemed like in the book Footsteps of a Killer. With an added twist to it, especially because it's the paranormal.
Right.
And how the killer is able to do what he does. He is, but he isn't, but he is.
Right.
Okay, so you have to really figure that one out about the killer, because it does say the killer. Matter of fact, even in your video, it stated that the killer is the killer who basically who's doing the killing if the killer is already dead.
Right.
Okay, so I'm threw that out there. The killer's already dead, but yet this killing's still going on, and I think that right there kind of twisted the spoiler. It twisted it where you're like, man, if he's dead, then who's doing the killing? Who is really doing the killing? And then you got the tie-in with the because of the how it happened with the electricity.
Right.
And I'm not sure because I saw your video, but I also saw the chair there.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just say the chair and electricity, kind of go together at a whole nother level. But Wow. What could you say to your viewers and readers about your book?
Oh, I'll tell you what other people have told me. Don't read it at night. Don't read it after midnight. And if you do read it at night, keep the lights on in the house.
Wow, because it's not the strong content in wording. It's strong content in the nature. Like you say, if you want a good scare, a good scare, a little like back in the day, you know, or like what's the they had Fright Night, not Fright.
Oh, yeah.
The vampires
Yeah,
show.
was it Sir Graves Ghastly, the Ghoul?
Yes,
Loved the Ghoul. There's a guy now, Sven Ghoulie. He's not as funny, but yeah, I mean, they had horror Saturdays where Sir Graves Ghastly would sit there and all the mummy and the claw. And
oh, the claw, you remember that? Yes. Was that when they came out the grave? No, that's Chiller. Chiller.
What was that guy?
Chiller.
Creep Show. That was the one with Stephen King's Creep Show. Yeah.
Yes, and then the other fun one was kind of cool was Tales of the Crypt that they
That's
kicked
the one.
on.
Tales of the Crypt.
Tales of the Crypt, but no, there was Creep Show. There was, it's funny. Creep Show seemed like it was part of Tales of the Crypt, but actually there was a Creep Show.
Right.
There was Tales of the Crypt. There was Night Gallery.
Night Gallery.
Woo!
Yeah.
That was what.
Yeah.
Keep the lights on.
Yeah, you don't watch Night Gallery
Night
at
Gallery,
night. God. See, and that's the stuff I grew up watching, faithfully. Rush home from school. Homework is on the side until I get through watching what I gotta watch. So.
I couldn't believe I watched that. That Night Stalker.
Yep.
And then you had the Outer Limits.
Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Alfred Hitchcock, yes, and man, the Outer Limits. There was another one besides Outer Limits. Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. Yeah.
So we had a whole section of scary fun.
Of scary fun.
And you deliberately would want to turn the light on and say, "Oh my gosh, it's a little too late." I got, you know. And you'll wait or keep the door cracked open or now. Can you share with all of us what in the world would we do taking a blanket, put it over our head, and have a flashlight on? What is that going to do after watching some creature feature movie?
Creature feature movie. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, and so you can protect yourself with a flashlight.
There's protection in the light.
Yeah, but the light goes through the blanket. Okay, you catch it? Goes through the blanket. The blanket over your head, but it goes through the blanket. So the creature sees you, but you don't see it. And get away with it.
Right.
Everything's okay and fine then.
You're safe under your blanket.
You're safe under your blanket, and you're good to go for another show. You know?
That was funny.
It's wonderful. You ever get those nightmare dreams? I mean, it's fun after you watch the show, right? And you wake up, you know, and then you think you saw something. You throw the blanket on and everything and wait, and all of a sudden, you saw something because of the show, and then you take the blanket off and it's gone. And you're like,
you pull it off real slow and you kind of peek. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm good. That's fun fear.
Fun fear.
That's fun fear. Hey, everybody, on that note, we're going to close, but on that note, we'll be right back after this. It just had to evolve with but it had the fun in it. It was scary, but it had the fun in it.
Yeah.
You know, like one of the trailers showed that on the commercial is that she had they were jumping out of an airplane and they all had parachutes. She had a bathing suit on, and she looked at everybody. They looked at her like, "Huh?" And she's like, "See ya," and jumped out. I'm like, "Are you insane? No. You're going to commit suicide like that." That way she come back so she can try to stop the killer from killing again. So it was just crazy. But these are some of the movies that's like, it bring the fun into it, a little humor, but at the same time, it scares you out your wits.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. I think that movie, is it called Stab? What's the movie with it's now has always been that mask, that droopy mask.
Michael Myers.
No, not Michael. Well, Michael Myers. I forgot about that. Michael Myers with the you got Jason. You got Halloween.
Right.
I think Michael Myers was Halloween.
Okay, yeah, I think he was.
Yes. Jason was Friday the 13th.
Right.
Okay. Oh my gosh! In the 90s, it was the inside the movie itself was called Scream.
Oh yeah.
Scream, and in the Scream itself, the movie inside the movie was called Stab. But the movie, their series was called Scream.
Right.
Took a little kind of off crazy, but Scream had you laughing, but scared at the same time. So these are fear fun flicks.
Right.
Fear fun flicks, and that's what's good about your book. A fear fun, and I like to call it a fear fun flick because it actually draws you into it. But also, like you said, don't, was it after 12 or something like that?
Yeah, don't read it after midnight. And don't turn the lights out.
Wow. You did a great job. He says, you and your mother watched it together, huh?
We watch a lot of things. She actually read that before she passed. And she called me upstairs. I was in the basement. She calls me upstairs and she goes,
Yes.
I have to ask you one thing. I said, well, what? Did you like the book? She goes, yeah, but let me ask you this. I go, what? She goes, did I do this to you?
Oh.
I go, yeah, you did, Blanche. You did.
Oh yes, because you watched the fear,
stuff,
all the stuff from back then,
yes.
all the
So
movies.
But she loved it. She told me it scared the what out of her, so she loved it.
She loved it. Okay,
Yeah.
that would be your best critic.
That's my best critic.
Because she knows.
Yes.
She knows. Excellent. Well, you know what? We ran out of time, and one of the things that I'd love to have you come back on the show again. As a matter of fact, I would like to bring, if you have, bring your other books too as well.
Okay, I can do that too.
Yes, because you're very.
Hopefully, the next one I'll bring back with me also will be the next one to that, which is Through the Eyes of a Killer.
Okay. See, I wasn't trying to bring it because I was thinking about the footsteps, and I love the title. So now you got Through the Eyes of the Killer.
The Eyes of a Killer.
That almost sounded like the movie back in our day called The Eyes of Laura Mars.
Yeah, it's not like that though. But
Yes. See, you're bringing something. What's that? Identity. You identify certain things, even though it's not. But you bring back that part of it. Fear fun. and congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations on Footsteps of a Killer.
Thank you.
You did an awesome job. So we want to definitely have you come back again.
I'd love to.
Okay, and everybody, Denise Bryson, or I say not just Denise Bryson, but I'm gonna put your middle name in here,
J.
and then this J.
Yes.
Denise J. Bryson, and as a matter of fact, it's available under Denise J. Bryson.
It's available for download on Amazon, and it's available through a PayPal account. Can I say that? What it's?
You have a website.
Yeah, I have a website.
Okay, so you have a website. Go ahead and tell everybody your website.
My website is oneblackRose.com.
Okay, so
One
it's
Black Rose.
oneblackRose.com. Okay, so your book's available there and available on Amazon.
And available on Amazon.
Excellent, excellent. Very good, very good. And everybody, on that note, stay blessed. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye. And you know what? And let's enjoy it. We'll have a little bit of fear fun.
Thank you. That was so much fun.
That's a wrap.
Guess the only thing for me to do is never let you know just how I'm feeling. 'Cause I don't want to know if you don't feel the same. It's a shame. Don't you wake my daydream, 'cause it's so real it seems. Maybe someday I'll get my head from the clouds, but for now I'll just daydream. 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 There's a place inside my mind unseen, dreams of you and I that just can't be, but I can keep them safe and locked away inside, inside. But don't you wake my daydream. Whoa, so real it seems. Maybe someday I'll get my